I'm going to hit record. We're going to start backwards from the close of a sale, and we'll work all the way to a new lead, and we'll work that way. That'll make it easier. So I'm going to start off inside invoice.crm or invoice.co web group. And if you guys have questions, I'll definitely take questions. If you can, use the chat box and say have a question versus blurting out, and that way I can finish my statement or thought or section and then answer the question when we have a pause. That way, who knows, I may answer the question if I'm able to finish the thought. And everybody's already on mute, so we're good to go. Okay, that being said, so chat box inside your GoToMeeting window if you've got questions. So we're going to start off with closed. Obviously, the way to see if a sale's closed is under payments received. And you'll see your new deal. So we'll start first with the very first one at the top. We'll go to Spartans. And first thing I'm going to do is copy the bill to. And I'm going to go into the system. I'm going to search and I'm going to look for that deal. So when I'm here, a couple things I want to look out for is I want to look for duplicates. So the second you do the search by account name, if there were duplicates, we'll go through, I'm sure we'll run into one, and we'll go through how to correct those. So this one looks really clean. We've got one contact, one deal, the account, 2 initial estimates, and 2 invoices. That's perfect. We're going to go into the opportunity. So at this point, first thing we want to do is not close these until you go through that. So I'm going to move this not to closed. Very important that you wrap up the deal. You're finalizing everything and putting in all the missing notes prior to hitting this close button. You only have one shot to hit the close button, because as soon as you hit this, it's going to immediately send a notification to the entire company with all of your notes and details. So if there's missing information, then all it does is cause them to start asking questions, and you'll be a part of that, because technically on the sales side, you're the only one with all of the information that's necessary. And the operations team needs that information from your discussions. So first thing we're going to do when we get here is we want to reference the estimate number. This is just to make it quick and easy for people to be able to identify what's what. So all you'll do is copy that invoice number and drop it here, and it'll show if it's an estimate or an invoice, so don't worry about the titles. And that's the first one. I'm going to look inside the system and see if Spartan has paid a any kind of recurring. At this point, I don't see recurring, so I'm going to just check estimates, and we'll look. So they still have an open estimate for their monthly recurring. So I'm going to grab this one, and that way they can clearly see that we have an invoice out that's been paid on this one, and we have an estimate out on this one. I'm going to grab this invoice number, go back to paid. We'll just sort. I'm going to go back here and fully open the invoice. And just really quick, this makes it extremely easy. Copy from here to here, grab that information, and drop it in the description. That is going to show to the entire company what's included in there. So it just makes it easy. There's a lot of people in our company that don't have access to the invoice system, and since we don't have contracts for them to look at, The only way they're going to see all the details right out of the gate is if you paste them here. So this makes it easier to be able to track what this is attached to. I'm going to also change the name of this. So the client technically only signed up for one element of a 2 invoice. So that means we're actually going to have two deals associated with this. So the opportunity name is no longer going to be no website. This is going to be website, and we'll see what's included in this. So this is actually cloned site. So just to make it easy, cloned website and content. We'll save this. So the name of the opportunity, when you have more than one opportunity from an operations standpoint, if it just says the company name, which they already know what account it's attached to because the account name is here, it's hard for them to decipher what's what. So for a quick glance, you always want to put what the name of the opportunity is. So the next opportunity is not going to be their website. The next opportunity is going to be their hosting and maintenance. For in here, the things that I'm looking for is I want to make sure that we have country, state, and does anybody know where these guys are located? Spartan. Actually, I got a local listings report. I can pull it. And these guys are in Florida. So we'll just add Florida. If you had any referral notes from a TSM, they're going to need to go here. So if a TSM has said, I want to stay involved in this deal, I want to keep posted on my client's account, I want to know as they hit or reach different milestones, I want to help you if you guys get stuck. If there's been any conversation with the TSM, that information needs to go here because that's important for the operations team to know, what your scenario is. If there were any discussions related to their accruals, do they have accrual funds? Are they going to use accrual funds? All of this information is the information that needs to be collected during the interview. So if you know the years in business, that's got to go here. And technically, I'm about to make all of these mandatory because we have to have them. We've got to know for many, many reasons. The biggest one being is the starting point. If we have to provide a summary on our success with this dealer, our success is going to come from where were they at when we got them. So they had 3 employees, 3 techs. They were doing annual sales of 460. They've been in years X number of business. What were the customers' goals? This is obviously estimated monthly budget is going to be a big deal for you guys. I'll explain why when we get to the sales portion. I'm just going to say 100 for now. And again, any kind of accruals. This has to be done. This changes everything when it comes to our website design. If they are using accrual funds, we have specific compliance requirements we have to follow for Goodman, Amana, Dyke, all of the manufacturers. So make sure that you have that conversation. We have to have that information. If they're not using any, that's great. That's fine. You can just put a little note in here that says not using accrual funds. If they want to feature a manufacturer, then we need to know, do they want to feature a manufacturer as well? So those kind of things right here, this is your baby when it comes to you having a conversation with the client. Don't stick it on a sticky note. Put it in the system. These details are reported back to the hiring event organizers and corporate for our distributors and our manufacturers. You got to fill this section out. This is only the sales rep interview. and this section. So for this one specifically, does Lisa, do you happen to know who the TSM is? Did the dealer tell us?
No, I'm sorry, but I'll be happy to find out.
No worries. When you do visit with them, if you can find out the years in business, and what were your discussions regarding their initial goals?
The initial goals is to eventually, well, first, just to get the website, to get the presence because they don't have one, and to add on as time goes by, to make it a better site and more coverage. That's where I discussed with him revisiting this in 3 to 6 months.
So that's perfect. One of the thoughts on this is a lot of times we'll think that we're going to remember stuff. After you've talked to 600 dealers or 6 more dealers, you're just not going to remember it. And if it's in your head or on a sticky note and no one knows, then basically it's invisible. And so we want to make sure that information is available. Any discussions on accrual funds or featured manufacturers on the site?
No.
Okay, so if you'll touch base with them, and the pieces of info we need is going to be years in business. Do they have accrual funds available? If so, from which manufacturer? And do they want to feature a MANA that you always want to start with whoever the referring group was? Do they want to feature a MANA or any manufacturers on the site and put these notes here? This is also what saves our butts. So if you think about it, the manufacturer who hired us or distributor who hired us to speak for an event, this isn't a MANA event. Well, they get a report after the event of all the people who signed up, and they compared that to the total people that registered. And I am measured on the number of requests for analysis for the evaluations. When we have X number of evaluations, and then later I have to report on the closed deals from that event, if a MANA hired us to speak at that event and these guys show up in this report, if later there's a conversation with our project management team and they say, I want to feature train, that can be a problem because when a MANA sees that website and it says train on it, if we don't have notes that say, we're looking at selling a MANA, but right now we sell and want to feature train, for example, then I have to do a ton of digging and excuse providing to explain to them that they came from the Amana event, but they don't sell your products. So it helps drastically if you can have that conversation and always remember these guys came out of an event for a specific manufacturer. Have that conversation. Do you have accrual funds? On your website, do you want to feature a MANA? And if they say no, you got to get a little explanation in here that says they're looking at, like I said, selling a MANA, but right now they want to feature train. And that's going to be the proof when we go back to them where that issue no longer is our problem. That issue is whoever the TSM is that invited this dealer to that event. That TSM has some heavy lifting to do, and it's not on CI Web Group. We didn't break the rules. We're not out of compliance. That's on them. So that'll remove the ownership from us for them. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes.
Yep.
I do have one question. I didn't get off mute fast enough when you were asking.
Shoot.
On the drop downs, like on the, wait, go back up on the estimated budget and so forth, on those drop downs, if we don't know, or if they don't know themselves what their estimated monthly budget is, on that drop down, what are our choices there?
So this is not a drop down, it's just $1. If it has a calculator, it means it's a dollar amount.
Okay, so if they don't have one, we just go in and put 0 in there, right?
Yep, you could put, or just leave this one blank, and where it says estimated invoice, this doesn't have a calculator, so you could put unknown.
Okay, sorry, I was thinking there was something on one of these drop downs where it didn't give us. Okay, sorry.
So for this one, I don't know what this is either. You can always put the notes in here. It says,
Even though that really doesn't have anything to do with the accrual funds, that's the place to put it if they don't have a budget.
yeah, you could absolutely put those together because it's financial. All of this is financial and featured manufacturer, so that'll cover everything.
Okay.
Okay. And that's everything else on here looks golden. So I'm actually not going to convert this yet until you have at least the TSM, if they have one, and any notes on featured manufacturer / accruals. And then as soon as you have that, we'll flip the switch. We'll hit closed one, and this one's good to go. All right. So for next steps, I would change this at this point to say I'll just say client paid, gather info, and convert to close. That'll make it easy. We'll go back to the next deal, and we'll go to payments received, and we'll take the, let me actually, for Spartan. So we have one other deal with Spartan. We've got to get a deal out there because they haven't paid that second invoice, the monthlies. So technically, we can make it all the way. No. Because this is a cloned site, they got to pay that monthly in order for this to actually move to closed in one. So unfortunately, when you do a cloned site, if they haven't paid that $100, we can't pay for their server, set it up. And because we're cloning a site, there's no design time. So we're skipping design, we're skipping development, we're skipping everything. So you won't be able to close this.
Can you repeat that?
So
Can you repeat that?
So because this is a cloned website, cloning means we need to make a copy of a site and we need to start working on that copy, which means immediately we got to have a server in order to make a clone. If this was not a cloned site, technically they could hold off on paying their monthlies until we get to homepage design approved stage. So reason is we don't need a server until the client approves their homepage design. So for a cloned site, what'll happen is we will have to immediately stage a site and clone it, which means we got to have a server. That's their $100 a month. So this deal can't technically be marked as closed one until this estimate becomes a paid invoice. Yeah, there's no design time. So what'll happen here is we will launch the project and we will set up a dev site. It'll immediately, this whole big process that happens where they're approving their design, this doesn't take place because there is no design. It's a color change, logo change, promotions, graphics, and some picture changes. That's it. So they're immediately going to go into dev site.
Jen, I have a quick question. Like when I'm setting up the account, are those the two things that I need to trigger?
Let's
versus
not do that yet. we'll because that's a
Okay,
whole
cool.
nother set of the process, so we'll do that separately. And it doesn't involve sales, so we'll do
Thank
that.
you.
No worries. All right. So for this one, we're not going to make normally what I would do if they paid one invoice and they didn't pay the other one, and that's okay until we get to that design approve phase. Once design is approved, they have to pay their monthlies in order for us to set up the server and start development. So there is a little bit of leeway. So if this was not a cloned site, what we could or should have done is we should have duplicated this particular deal, which we would be cloning it. That would be a second deal. We would change the name to Step 2, Hosting and Maintenance, and any other services. And your description of what's in that invoice is going to change.
Jennifer,
Yes, ma'am?
on the clone sites, is it possible for them to have extra pages over the 20 if they pay for them to move them over?
Yeah, you can add additional pages to transfer.
Okay, and we just charge them the $10 over the 20?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, Jen, one last question. Sorry.
Hang on one second. Let me finish answering that one. You just have to be really careful. On a cloned site, there is no design process. So they're choosing the design and the layout. And then boom, we're going to do the changes we need to for color, logo, and content. And they're going to be in a final review stage for their website. In the final review stage, they can change text, navigation, and that's about it. So they can't redesign any function of the site because there is no design. Clone means whichever site you pick out, that's the site you get with a different logo, different color, and different content. So just make sure that.
Well, they get the 20 pages, and then anything over that if they want to pay the extra $10 to transfer that over, correct?
Yep, that's content. If they want to add more sliders, that's content, or you can add sliders. You can add additional iStock images. You can add promotions. You can add other things to it. That just the same as you would anything else. And they'll get to approve the sliders. They'll get to approve the promotions, and will transfer any additional pages that they have. So if their number of pages here was 40, then 20 would be covered in the clone, and they would be paying for 20 additional pages to be transferred.
Okay.
Okay, Jess, your question?
You just said, I think you just said, I just want to clarify, that when they have, I thought yesterday you said you could have multiple invoices on the same deal, but I thought you just said that you actually clone it and with another invoice. So is it one invoice per deal, or can that be?
Totally unrelated. So
I thought you just changed the name of the deal when you cloned it.
Two different things. So
okay.
Right now, we have an invoice that's been paid, which is their one-time services, and it's a cloned site. So we have to have the second estimate converted to an invoice and paid before we can start this project or mark them as closed. Because we have to have a server to make a clone of the website. So you will have two invoices attached to this particular deal, and they both have to be paid. In some instances, you'll have a deal. Let's just go through each scenario because you'll see them as we go. So for this particular scenario, for a cloned site, we have one invoice and one estimate. And this estimate is the one. So, and it's been invoiced. So they just need to pay it. And they're good to go. And And we'll go view the invoice. And we'll send a reminder.
I just text them as well. And the additional information is in the chat, Jen. I just text them about the invoice, but send that as well. That's fine.
Okay. So we'll just send a quick note and they're good to go. All right. This is this one, and we'll move to the next one. So we're going to go to payments received. And the next account is going to be for B&G. So I'm going to copy this one. And okay, I see we've already got them moving. Wow. Did they already fill out onboarding forms?
I think they were sent onboarding forms. I know they were going to get going with it.
Jesse,
Yes.
were these guys already sent onboarding forms? Do you know?
There's been a couple clients that have. I don't know if they're one of them, but I can find out for you.
You look at
Kathy sent those, and she.
Hold tight. Hold tight.
Okay.
So click on accounts and look at attachments and see if they're there.
Okay.
Okay, so next we'll go to the deal. And I moved this from one to negotiations for a few reasons. So first thing I did on this one is I went in and I copied the descriptions from the paid invoices. So those are all in there. I grabbed both of the paid invoice numbers, put them here. For this one, so we never sent the, I want to make sure they at least have a copy of the evaluation so they have a starting point so they can refer to it as well. Lisa,
Jennifer, sorry.
hang on one second.
They've sent 2 forms.
They have. Okay, so that's why. So they've technically already been started as a client without the conversion, which is fine. We'll deal with that. Lisa, I'm going to do this really quick since you've got your details in here. So these guys.
I wasn't sure on the evaluation, Jen, to send it to them after. I didn't know if it was going to confuse them or not.
Okay, so for this one, we're just going to put all right, that's perfect. So you got their.
What does that say, Jennifer? What does that say? Unlimited budget. What did you say? What does it say? Client wants to.
Hang on.
No, that's not. He doesn't want to feature them.
Okay, Bev, this is Spartans, and Lisa just got.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're good. So,
Flipped on me.
no, you're fine. So this is. Okay, that's perfect. And this is Amana Winner Circle. Is Kathy on the training? Is she on this call? Marshall? Miss Marshall.
Nope.
She is. I need you to do me a favor, please, Kathy. I need to make sure that the event videos are attached to the actual events. Kathy? Unmute. These are 6 months ago. Can you ask Scott for the link to the Amana's Winner Circle video? And we'll need to have a quick training with him to show him where to put those so they're always on the events. Jesse, for you, since Kathy's not answering, on the event, post-event, we always have to have the event video attached. So Scott or myself, or both of us, will have one, or 3. And the event video goes on the deal. When you guys are doing the analysis and you're entering the leads, this is where you want to put the event videos. They've asked that we make sure that the dealers who attend a specific event get a copy of the video. So sending the video as a part of the evaluation is the way we need to do that. So on every one of the events, 2 things need to happen. One is when you go to the campaign/event for this particular deal, then we need to make sure that the video is attached to this campaign. And secondly, we need to post the videos here. And that way we've accomplished what we promise at the event is everybody that registers for a free evaluation will get a copy of the event video. It's partially what we use to be able to do that, because otherwise I have to do email marketing things to get them out, and I don't want to do all that. It's too easy to send them in the evaluations.
Okay, I'm gonna out for it.
So
I've got a quick question. Oh, sorry.
go ahead.
Well, I have Levi, we're texting back and forth. Suppose he doesn't want us to do the hosting. He's implying that, just get the website done and he'll take care of that portion later. And my thing is, well, we have to build a server, blah, blah, blah. And I'm telling him everyone has to do it in a very polite way.
So I'll tell you the answer. We have to have a server to develop his website. And once he's ready for go live, if he chooses to cancel that service, we'll send him a copy of his website and he can do whatever he wants with it.
Yeah, well, I did say that we have to build a server. So
Just make sure he knows that
okay, so
when we're done with his project, he can cancel that service and we can send him his website. However,
so that's the terminology you want to use instead, Lisa. The build a server is not really.
However, there are pieces of functionality in the website we cannot include if we don't host and maintain it, because we will not be able to maintain those pieces of functionality on someone else's server. We do those on ours. So we will not be able to do his theme updates. We will not be able to include the SARE calculator. the terminology page, FAQ page, and what else, Mike? This, obviously he's not getting the CRM. So we have some pieces of functionality that will not be included because they require maintenance. And if he's not on a maintenance plan with us, then we can't do those updates, and they don't work forever without updates. His website is one of them. He will have a theme
Yeah.
that is going to require updates and new versions. And if he's not on a maintenance plan, he will not have, those things aren't going to take place. So if he just puts
Never mind. Just said okay. That's okay. Go on. I'm sorry to interrupt, Jennifer. Thank you, darling.
So
You just said okay.
Okay, so for that, we do need to have a conversation with him and make sure he clearly understands. Because if he cancels when the website is done, those pieces of functionality will be stripped from his website, and his design will be funky because he'll have holes in them. I'm sure that
Yes.
the troubleshooter is also another one.
Yeah.
Jen, can you list those things for sale so they know what's included with our service and what things do not come if they purchase it and take it themselves, what don't go along with it? So they're clear.
That is in the terms and conditions document, and it's all third-party licensed functionality. So
it's not just the resources then?
No. So on here, on the account, if they are not hosting with us, here's the list, so you get it. It's going to be under web. So right here under development, it says CI tools to exclude. So if they're not hosting with us, they don't get the SARE calculator, FAQ, troubleshooter, terminology, or CRM. Because we cannot maintain those. And we will not be doing the required.
Right?
Say that again?
That's the resources, though, that when we're showing on the website, for example, the resources, under resources, those are the ones that are listed except for the CRM.
Correct. Everything in resources we don't get, and their theme will not be updated. And just to give you the logic behind that, right now, the brand new theme that we launched, 2-3 months ago, we're already having to rebuild that entire theme because Bootstrap, which is a coding standard, I should say, when we built the theme 3 months ago, Bootstrap 3 was the current standard. And as of this month, 3 months later, Bootstrap 4 is the new current standard. So we have to rebuild our theme entirely from beginning to end. And once we rebuild that theme with the new functionality, we will deploy the Bootstrap 4 functionality to every one of our clients that is on this theme, whether they're in development or they're live. And those things happen every month. There is a section.
So Jennifer, if they'll still have that theme, the old one will just go with them, right?
They'll just take
the old one
and eventually it'll crap out and they'll need to buy another website. Okay. Sooner than their 24-month is most likely. So, I mean, that's the reality is they're not even going to notice, other than their site's going to start breaking. No one's going to be updating their WordPress, and the likelihood of them getting hacked is extremely high because if you are hosting a website, that's like taking a car, putting it in a garage, and it never moving. When you are hosting and maintaining a website, that means that it's parked in the garage and you have a mechanic in there that is working on, just to give you an example, we track all of these, that is working on that website, the upgrades, the updates, over and over and over making enhancements to it, tweaking it, replacing parts so that the website lasts as long as it can. And we do this, every one of these is when we send a note to a client. So a client gets an email. Let me just show you so you can see these, because I don't think you guys know these things exist. But as a part of our maintenance plan, so here's an example. It'll say graphics or web admin hours. It'll say, we're excited to tell you we've completed additional work. What's in your plan? So if they have web admin hours, it'll show it. If they have graphics hours, it'll show it. If they have neither, it'll show 0 and 0. And it says, don't be alarmed. Sometimes the request is something you submitted. Many times this is our team doing what we do best on your behalf, auditing your site, making recommendations to our team for updates, enhancements, modifications. As technology advances, requirements change, or something's just not right. And it sends them a note, says what the website is, tells them what the work order was, who requested it, which is usually our internal team. Very rarely do our clients ask for stuff. And then it'll have a description. So every month there's different kinds of errors. So for this particular project, they had to update all of the plugins and paid plugins. They had missing pages republished because of a WordPress update. Some of the pages were missing. Unneeded plugins were removed because of new functionality. WP Engine plugins installed. Site migration issues fixed. Images optimization completed. AMP and Schema were verified and bugs fixed. So just because we build a site doesn't mean it just runs. We do this every single month. Going through and auditing. We have an entire team. It's headed up by a woman named Prativa. You guys probably don't know her, but she oversees our audit team, and they run reports and they do audits on every website every month, finding things that are broke, not working, updates are needed, and so forth. So this is part of not only we put it under, when we send the notifications, we put it under web admin hours. So if this says they don't have any hours, they still get a note, but in the web admin plan type, we tell them that we didn't charge them for that work because we take care of it under their hosting and maintenance agreement. And that was 3 hours in 1 month for one site, which if they pay $100 a month and we use 3 hours for doing updates, then we're basically in the hole if they don't have an admin plan. But we do that because we don't have to do this every single month on every site. We do it every couple months. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
I think he was just trying to get that until the website is done, but he didn't understand that needs to be done right in the beginning. But he's okay now. He texted me and said he's fine. Thank you.
Perfect. I just want you guys to feel confident about what happens with web administration and hosting and maintenance. I don't care about hosting. Our cost for hosting a site is $27 a month. That's our hard cost for servers. Everything else is related to all the work that it takes for us to monitor their site 24/7 as far as uptimes, to do the upgrades, the updates, plugin updates, audits, fixes, theme updates, everything. So you guys, it's not a profit center for us. It's a necessity to keep that website functioning at peak performance. All right. So B&G. All right, let's hit edit on this one. And we'll come back to that. So this is a TSM referral. Who referred them?
George. Let me spell the last name for you. I just had that ready because I knew you were going to ask me that. It's George, Jorge. Last name is Guajardo.
Okay, he's not even in the system, so I'm not going to do that right now.
Wait. Did you spell his first name with a J?
I did not.
Yeah. George, Jorge.
Okay.
I know he's in.
So it's that simple to add them. The second you hear from a TSM, don't wait to put them in here. Like day one, immediately put them in here. A, because they need to get a copy of the evaluation. B, we definitely don't want to make it to a closed contract without having that. Any notes or thoughts from George? Requests?
No, just no.
Okay.
I keep him in the loop always. All my TSMs always email him. So yeah.
And that's Goodman.
But his featured dealer, I mean, who he uses his main manufacturer is Carrier. But yeah, it's Goodman's Jennifer Cohen's group.
Okay, so that's even more critical. That's good.
See, and I thought Jesse and I had gone in and connected it to Jennifer Cohen's group at one time. I thought we did.
Oops. Run campaigns.
Lorenzo, check your chat.
And where's
Texas, El Paso, Texas.
Okay. Do you happen to know total employees?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't ask him that. I was just I just asked Tex. That's what we used to, but I know now to ask for all the total. Sorry. We're not doing what we used to anymore. I got that.
And is he doing a clone site?
Yes. Oh, okay. So that goes under the promotional plan. Okay. I didn't know that.
I'm going to send him a note.
Chosen. Has chosen.
All right, this one we can mark to 1. And he has closed on both invoices. So it is $7,850. So this amount, your closing amount, is only the paid invoices for this. And then for this, for your commissions tracking, we'll go back in here and go to expenses.
I think it's already in there, Jennifer.
Okay. So is he doing monthly payments on his website?
There'll be 2 payments, and that's one of the things that Jess and I were going to go back and fix. I don't have him for that second payment to do that on a recurring.
Okay, so this is BNG. So this one, let's see here. So you would not put both of them out. Well, that's fine. You're not going to do recurring because if you did recurring, you're including your monthlies. So you'll just make another, when he pays his second half, you'll just make another one for your commissions for the second half.
Yeah, I get that. I'm just not, on his invoice though, that we send to him, I'm not sure that, that Jesse and I got back in it to where he would get a second invoice.
Lorenzo, can you go look at that deal?
I know we didn't because we're going to do that yesterday.
So he was invoiced 1. Okay, so Lorenzo, you need to set this up so he gets another invoice for the second half.
Okay.
Got it?
All right.
Okay.
What is it? What is it again?
That is B and G. All right, so we'll go to the next one. Payments received. And I saw
check the chat. You'll have the winner circle videos.
okay. So tell him to attach them to the campaign. And if he needs to know how, you show him where. The event, campaign event, needs to add the video for all of the events that we've done. I thought I saw Home Pro. Oh, this is due in 10 days. Got it.
Where's the campaign?
It's a module called Campaigns and Events. Every event needs the video attached to it. And Jesse, Scott is going to be adding those videos to the events so you can update those deals that are attached to that event with the video. All right, so that's it for these. Yeah, this is definitely so Lorenzo, why does it say that his invoice was for $1,500 and $750 was paid, but the balance is 0?
Where do you see it? I see it here, but I need to see it on the invoice we're talking about.
So let's look.
Unless you see another invoice.
Okay, so this we do not want to do. So basically, what went out to him is
I don't know where that discount came from on that.
basically we gave him a 50% discount.
Oh crap, I thought I was dividing it into two.
No, so we're gonna go, Lorenzo, do I clone it?
No. I just made the second invoice for it. So I mean, internally, that's what we'll see. But he'll get another invoice for $750 regardless.
Can you edit it, Jen? At that
But I mean,
no, we can't.
Right now.
It's already been paid. So you
can you click edit real quick to find out originally what it looked like on the inside?
Yeah, I can see it was a 50% it was half, 0.5 of a website.
Yeah. Quantity. See, because the quantity. See, the rate was 1,500, and she inverted it.
Yeah. So there's two ways to.
I mean, she'd have been just fine. Just if she'd have flipped them, she put them in the wrong space.
Well, I wouldn't even do that. All you need to do is say allow customer to make partial payments for the invoice.
But you can't reissue the invoice when you do that. No.
Yeah, this is.
That's the part. That's the only part about that one.
So Jen,
you have to remember to issue it back out again so they can make another payment on it, or they remember to pay it at a certain time.
Yeah, you don't want to do this because then no one's going to remember this. So a couple ways to do it. One is creating a.
She could have put in the note, and the note in the line item is 2 payments of $750, and just put $750 in that one, and do the other one.
Yeah, you just want this balance to show the actual balance for it instead of it saying that it's zero balance, because technically there's a $750 balance. Partial payment.
Well, Jennifer, just if we go up where I did that 0.05, because I know that Lorenzo was trying to show us how to do that one time. And so on the quantity, how would we have done that where it would have just been?
No. What I'm saying, Beverly, is you switch the numbers up. The 15 goes where the 0.50 goes, and the 0.5 goes where the 15 went. You put them in the wrong place.
Oh, okay.
It's not by.
Yeah, because the rate of it is going to be the amount, and then the quantity is how is how many of that line item. And for this one, it was just half of whatever the line item is, but the rate is the 1,500.
So this is one website for $1,500.
Yes.
Versus 1,500 websites for $5.
Whatever they did.
I was trying to get it so right based on the steps we took the last time, and I still screwed it up.
All right. We're good. You're not gonna edit quantity unless you're adding more. More pages, more locations.
So that should have been one. Yeah. Right.
And the rate is going to be whatever the rate is for that step.
And then what we do is you go down, and then you said instead of even making that in 2 payments like that, then we go down and click on the allow customer to make partial.
No, you're gonna get confused there. I wouldn't even talk about that.
So Lorenzo, let me ask you this. This is where
how do we do it?
If they choose allow customers to make partial payments and they put in the notes, please make your initial $750 payment to start the project, and the balance is due by this date.
They can do that. Somebody just have to remember it and issue it out when it's time. If they hadn't done it, that's all.
It'll already be issued, and if they get close to that, it'll remind the customer automatically that the balance is due.
When will it? What triggers a reminder?
The due date.
The due date is the date you send it out.
No, right, but the due date is the due date for the entire amount. So your notes would be saying, please make.
So you're saying it can be due. So you're saying it can be due next month on the 24th, but make the first payment now. So then on the 24th, when it's going to issue it out again with just the remaining balance.
Yep. So that
I get that. I got that.
That works for 2 payment deals.
I understand it. I understand what you're saying.
So
Okay.
it would just make.
Can you repeat all that
I
and
am.
make sure what we have?
I am.
Well,
it's pretty simple. I mean, you would bill it fully, but then your due date, just make sure if they're doing 2 payments, whenever you want the last payment to go out, you can issue that as the due date for it. But when you Jennifer, if you change that due, if you make the due date for next month, it won't issue. Actually, it will save it, but it won't issue the invoice until it's due.
That's fine.
That's
So
the
want
difference.
to send out a reminder?
So I don't know how they would make a payment on it when it wouldn't actually send it out to them yet.
It will send it.
Wouldn't it send out a reminder saying it was late? And then they would know?
No, hang on.
No.
No. Stop.
Okay.
When you hit save and send, it's going to send the email with the invoice immediately. In your
It
customer.
would just give them a due date out in the future. Okay,
Yes.
I got you. I got you. Are you making these notes on the recurring invoice?
This is not the recurring. This is the initial. Have you already sent a recurring to him?
I've already said it. It just goes out next month.
Okay, but you haven't sent anything. So hold tight on that. The balance.
No. I just saved it.
And the final due date in
On the 22nd.
4 more payments.
November 22nd is when I set it for. Hold on. So are you going to delete the other one?
You're going to delete it if this works. I got to see if I can save it on a paid invoice.
Ugh.
When did the original one? When did it first one go out? Shouldn't it just be a month from that, or are we just giving him extra days?
I mean, it's a couple days difference. Doesn't matter on this one. In this particular case, but
Okay.
normally it would be 30 days after whatever date it was.
And then 1 extra day. Is that the way you tell us?
If I'm doing a recurring, the recurring ends the day after the last payment.
See, I do remember that.
Good stuff. Why you keep changing the date, Jan? What are you doing?
Because you just said day after, so I just made it the day after.
If it's a recurring,
So
it's cool.
Close enough.
So it says client made initial $750 payment to start project. The balance can be paid anytime between now and the final due date, and 1 or more payments between now and November 20th.
That if they already made the $750, now you're saying they can make the remaining, and so they can put $100, $200 down the next one. Then how are you doing that?
It doesn't matter. They have a portal. They can make whatever payments they want as long as the balance is paid by November 20th.
Okay, all right, okay. He's setting them expectations.
Jennifer, can I make a comment on that?
Go ahead.
If we put that in there that they can start making different payments on or before that due date, then isn't that going to be a lot of bookkeeping to go back in and put like on the commissions and that sort of thing? Because then there's going to be, or no, I guess it'd still be on the same invoice. You see where I'm going with it? I mean,
yeah, well, it won't be a final paid invoice. That's the one thing.
He's not going
I
to.
mean, they can make as many as they want to. We're just waiting for the.
He's not going to do it. 99% of them are going to pay at the. You're going to have a couple of them, the small guys, that if they close a deal and they have money, they're going to pay it. So I wouldn't worry about it.
okay. So we need to put something similar to that then anytime that there's, because I've got another one that it'll, if he does the clone in 2 payments.
I wouldn't even put it. I don't know why I didn't put it, but I wouldn't even make that a part of his practice. That wording.
I don't need to put that language in that she just put in. Is that what you're saying? So,
It's not necessary. She did it, but it's not necessary.
if you have clients, which I have had many conversations with, that need to be able to pay as money comes in, then you can put that language. If the language is not necessary, don't use it. Just apply logic based on your conversation with the dealer. So now we have an accurate invoice that says we bought one website for $1,500. A payment has been made of $750. The client can make multiple payments on the bill. It's letting them know that they've paid the $750 and the balance can be paid anytime between now and the final due date.
Okay.
It looks good. It looks good.
So that does. Now, just to be clear, I know that was a screw up the whole way around, but if we were starting fresh on a clone, then I guess, are we going with trying to do that half payment thing if I had put that in correctly, or are we doing what Jennifer just said on the customer can make payments?
Okay, so if you sell a clone site, you can't. Okay, let me get to that when we get to the sales piece. How to structure it.
Okay.
Okay.
I just didn't want to make a note of it here to ask again.
That's okay. I've got it on the agenda. All right. So we've processed this deal as one, and Spartan, he said he's going to take care of it. Let me just double check, and he's already paid it. So that's perfect. So Lise, we're able to update yours at the same time. So we'll go back to Spartan. We're going to change the estimate. And did you have any promises or anything that was made to the client that they need to be aware of?
I think Lisa might have had to step out. I thought I saw something in chat.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna make this cloned or we're gonna close this. Payments received for Spartan is 2,200, and that's 2,200, and the closing date is today. All right, so you guys can see what goes out to the team. You'll see a notification that says new customer or more services announcement sold by Spartan. It says what they're getting. So step 1, clone website and content writing, dealer evaluation, then proposal is the type versus existing customer or new customer, website address, primary contact, account, annual sales, number of employees. The description is going to have your notes, anything you want to tell our operations team, things you promised them, issues you ran into, duplicate content, website has a virus, they don't have access to their domain, their old website company won't give up their URL, they don't own a domain. So you guys need to think really carefully, whatever info is sitting in your head that needs to get to our operations teams, it's got to go in the description. Otherwise, they're blindsided, and it's the quickest way to piss off the client because we don't communicate internally. So if you don't want to have to get on a call with ops, then this is the way to do it. Put your notes in there of all the stuff you talked about and what the big issues are that you've made commitments for or have identified. This will have all of the info from there. It'll have the TSM, manufacturer distributor, what event they came from. It was a speaking event. If the video's there, that helps as well. It'll have their website quality details, number of pages, links to their reports. It's going to have all the issues for each area. So when our operations team has a project launch call, this is what they're using to discuss what the client purchased, what the issues are, any commitments that were made with you, and what we're going to do. So if they tell you, I need a logo, we don't have a logo, anything that's in your head that needs to get to ops, share it with them in that email. And the email goes to the entire company. So everybody knows about the new client. All right, we are done with processing new accounts, and we're going to switch gears, and we're going to go to deals and sales. I made a new report for you, and we also have a new process slash strategy for you guys being able to get things to people quicker and me being able to help more. So first thing I want to go through, when you get to, when you're on a deal, the one thing that I'm looking for is I want to see the communications that are happening with the customer. What I'm noticing on all the deals, majority of them, like 99%, is all there are is sometimes there is notes, and outside of that, we're missing the key factor, which is email correspondence. In all sales strategies, you always have 2 touches. Make the call, they don't answer. Receptionist says we'll call you back. Whatever. The second message needs to be an email that says, hey, Joe, I just left a voicemail with your office. Blah, 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 blah. So yesterday I did about 10 of them, email follow-ups, to both the TSM and the dealer. So when I send an email, and all you do on your deals to send an email is you tap this little button that says send email. Your dealer's already here. Add your TM or TSM. Say follow-up from Amana event, Johnstone event, in regards to your evaluation, in regards to your plan, so forth, and personalize a quick message to them. And you can CC myself or whoever was at the event, so that if we have any additional insights, if we had a personal conversation with them, if Mike sat at the bar and had a glass of wine with them and they talked about their dog or whatever, that we can reply back to your email and say, Joe, you and I talked in the hallway or whatever, and you committed you weren't going to delay on this. I'm holding this spot for you in the pipeline, and Bev's trying to reach you, or Lisa's trying to reach you.
Jennifer, I'm still not getting that green send button when I'm trying to send one from inside the CRM.
So use your command key on your screen and shrink your screen down until it shows up. It's too big, so it's down below. The other thing you can, that's one. So by shrinking your screen size, you'll be able to see this. The other thing you can do is take this little corner, make it smaller, drag it up, and you'll see the green button.
Okay, I'll try that.
Go ahead and try it, and if you can't, then we'll flip over to your screen and I'll check it.
Okay.
So if you do this, yesterday I sent out 10 messages to Lisa's accounts that she had stated were not calling her back, were not returning calls. One of them closed. One of them, the TSM responded to me and said, hey, Jen, dealer's not going to tell you, but it was too much for them. So I redid their proposal and restructured it and told them how I would do it to bootstrap it. And I sent them a copy of the digital marketing guide that contains the bootstrapping opportunities. And I'll explain more about that in a minute. I got a reply immediately from the dealer that said, thank you so much. That initial estimate was way too high. I just can't do that right now. I'd like to talk about your new plan. This is more more reasonable, I think he said. I got another response from a dealer that said, I'm totally swamped. I know I told you that I would move forward on this quickly. I promise I'll get back to you. I replied back to him. I said, I'm only in town 5 days, man. And then I'm going to be in 5 more states. And he was like, okay, I promise to get back to you this week. Then I got another message from another TM that said we had the wrong email address for his dealer. Here's the right email address. Then I got another response from a dealer who said, thanks for following up on this. I'm on vacation until Friday. Can we meet next week? Then I got another one. So all of the time she's calling and calling and calling, receptionist, no phone service. Can't do that. Can do that. Phone calls are fine. Yes, you need to call, pick up the call. Some of them don't check email. Some of them hate email because they're a one-person shop and they're in the attic. So they don't answer phone calls. They're in the basement, so they don't answer phone calls. And the only thing they're going to respond to is an email. The TSMs don't not include a TM and don't not include us, especially Mike and I, because we have all these forms and we can remember these people, or we know who was at the meeting that is had the biggest conversation with them. So use us. We have to increase our closings. The other thing that's going to help you, so that's first and foremost, is I got to see a follow-up email from someone other than me on every deal, every one of them. That has to happen. And you're not going to, we don't care if you include us on the emails. If we don't have time, we don't read them. If we have time to sit on a plane and read 50 of them and try and help you close it by shooting a little message to them or trying to push them a little bit, then we'll do that. We use language from the event that they're familiar with. Remember when we talked about blank? We'll make sure they have a copy of the video to get them re-amped, re-pumped up about it. There's things that we can do to help. So don't hesitate to do that. Next thing. I want to help you guys process logic for working and closing details. We got to think faster, bigger, more organized, more strategic in our approach. So inside deals, if you go to this report, opportunities by size. So you have evaluations. These are all the ones that don't have evaluations. We currently have 92 that have not been sent evaluations. These are all the ones that have been sent evaluations that we need to close. We currently have 162 that need follow-ups to close. And these are opportunities by size. So this is everything that is not closed yet. And we currently have, this is not including day and night or Ferguson. We have 492. So here's logic. First and foremost, the most important pieces of information outside of the required. Required is administration. Step 1. This is required. Okay. Who's the TM? So, Jesse, for you, if this is Ferguson and this is Arizona, this is Deborah Whedon. So everywhere you see a Ferguson, Arizona, it is always Deborah Whedon. So if you go to if you go if you know the distributor and you click on the distributor should have your primary contacts. So regional is Deborah, Dave Sharp is the ASM. That's what you put in here, especially if you know the region like this. This required for reporting, that's the administration piece of it. This is your entire logic for, I should say this, and the number of pages on the site, the year the domain was established. So if I don't know the years in business and I look at the Who Is report, or I look at one of the website reports, it tells me that Silk Tide will tell me that the domain has been established since 2006. So for years in business, put the domain registration date, and at least you have something in here to tell you, was it yesterday, last week, a month ago, or 10 years ago? That logic will tell you how to better deal with that dealer. If you don't have annual sales, but you have years in business, that's going to help. You need total number of employees. You need to know the customer's goals and or budget. So first priority is, what's your monthly budget? Let me work backwards. You're going to get a digital marketing guide that has all of our prices. So we're not going to modify the prices because you told me your budget. But what it is going to do is give me a starting point to work back into. Because you need everything on the 12-step program, but you can't have it all. So I need to figure out, what are you comfortable with? What are you comfortable with? What is okay for your budget? Give me a ballpark. $100? 600? 1500? 10 grand? That's the range we're talking about. Give me something. Because otherwise it's a shot in the dark. So try for that. If you don't get that, hopefully you already asked him these questions, because this is your fallback details. So always get these first. Years in business, annual sales, total employees. Then ask for budget to work backwards into a proposal. Then, do you have accrual funds available? You know they expire March, if you know. And if you're going to have a conversation, or you tell them to talk to their TM. So not even just accrual funds. If it's Goodman, say, do you have any marketing funds available? If you don't know, who's your TSM? Boom, they tell you the TSM, put that shit in the system. Okay, I want you to call your TSM, or how about this? Better yet, if you give me your TSM's phone number, I'll call him for you. Put the TM information, just put it in the accrual notes. Client wants us to call TM to see if they have any marketing funds or accruals available. TM is Joe, blah, 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 phone number, email address. Hit save. Then add your TM later. So you can be slick and have some swag and get this information, because you're going to try and help them and see if they have any funds available. So swag, get the information, then add the TM to the report. You now have another sales rep that can work on your behalf if you get that TSM's contact information. Now, when you have this data, I'm going to show you how to think about the pipeline. So first, this filter information, you need to use it. First thing I'm going to do is, well, for you guys, you're going to want to have owner. So all you do is click this link. You say owner, opportunity owner is, and pick a name. So Bev, we'll use you. Okay. Then I want to say website address is or contains no site. Apply filter. So you have 3 deals that are no websites. I have one of them that has years in business 11. We have 6 techs, 6 employees. I have no pages. the logic behind this is, in my head, not talking to them, you've been in business 11 freaking years, you only have 6 employees. I'm guessing their annual sales for 6 employees max, they can probably do 600 grand, maybe 750. So you can usually take the number of employees and estimate $100,000 per employee, add 15%. So they're not making 100,000, but you're taking costs associated with it. Each employee has a truck, they have insurance and so forth. Your overhead is 15-20%, and you can guesstimate annual sales. So any business is the same.
Jennifer, for this particular one, is this for J&D? Let me scoot that over. Let me see who the customer. Okay. He is commercial, and so he does a lot of, he'll hire contractors. He said he keeps, 6, but they're all independent. So that would be the exception, I would think, because he's not buying trucks for them.
Did he give you his annual sales?
250.
Okay, so he's doing a lot less. So first thing I would do is make sure that you put that in here instead of your sticky notes.
Yeah, and his commercial was higher, but since he wanted to start really working on residential, I didn't. So that's what I really should put in, that he's making on his residential. I really don't want to add the commercial because he's not interested in that right now. Or should I add that total?
Client currently
Makes sense.
There's your logic.
Okay.
And this is why this is important, because I'm going to start making recommendations on these things and getting involved to try and help you close these deals. And if I don't have this or this, I'm going to make a recommendation based on what I have for something that doesn't make any sense. It's not logical. Did he happen to give you what he thinks he can budget out of this for his marketing?
No.
Okay.
He's doing a clone site and 2 payments as soon as he gets his big commercial check in this week or next week. He's going to move forward.
So I would put this here because I want them to see this in the reports they get, that they're not willing to give us a marketing budget for the residential side of their business. I want them to see that. And it's legit. That's real. No current site and needs to, that's good. So I would add that here. Okay. So additional logic to go through. So I would originally have recommended the bootstrap 1. I'll say actually through 3, and I'll explain that. So first off, we have not sent his review to him, but you're in proposal and price quote. Have you sent a estimate?
There was, yeah. I can't remember now if I was waiting on that one because we had that conversation right after. I don't remember. I think I sent it. Or, yeah, I was going to wait because I wasn't sure that we were doing those correctly. Oh, I did send it. And I screwed it up because I only sent it for $750.
And we have 1,500 websites.
Same thing again.
Okay, so we're gonna fix this.
At least I'm consistent.
There you go.
Consistently wrong.
That's all right. 1,500. And
Which they'll have to change that because, yeah, I said this estimate was the first amount.
so, and I wouldn't, okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay. And is this something to be invoiced or no?
Is it what?
Something to be invoiced or no? Does it need to be converted to an invoice?
I'm sorry?
Does it need to be?
Not yet.
Okay.
No.
All right. So I'm going to drop the estimate in here. So I have it. And then you'll want to put the second estimate in here. So starter plan recommendation, I'm going to say Bootstrap version 1 through version 3. And I'm going to put a note to primary contact. I'll show you. Okay. And we do have a TSM, but we do not have the right distributor selected. So that, and this is the number one account I have to report on. I have to report on them all, but that's the one everybody is eyeballing as the example.
That's Jennifer Cohen's again, because that's George again.
So I gotta have, so this is cloned website. I have to have you guys get this down. You have to. I don't have a better way. So I'm gonna go edit and
She's Arizona, Jen. Did you?
oh,
Okay.
totally no.
I bet.
This is I have to reply this report every month on the 15th, every single month. Okay, U.S. and where's he located?
El Paso, Texas.
All right. And did George tell you anything specific about him?
Yeah, he's got 4 kids. You want me to tell you everything he told me, or just kind of some notes about that, or more about the business?
Increase.
Oh, he wants to get a good website he can navigate first, and then he'll start adding content and doing the next steps, because we went through the steps.
Okay. Referred by company is Goodman. I'm going to have to go clean out all these again. And we got Joe. Here's in business. And this. We got local. Okay. And he's cloned. Okay, so we are going to send the evaluation.
I could have sworn I saw one of those go out this morning, but maybe not.
We're going to send, the date will be in there if it goes out. We're going to send the TSM the eval.
George.
Okay, now for this, we're going to do the, what I did is I sent, you're going to see a new trigger in here called send plan follow-up. So plan follow-up. Okay, this trigger is a letter that goes to the customer as well as the TM. And it basically says, Joe, I wanted to follow up with you regarding your website and marketing plan. Our pipeline's filling up quickly with the seasons changing. I want to make sure we have a spot for you. We have and can design a plan for any size business. That being said, customizing a plan is an art and a science. If we are provided with a comfortable monthly marketing budget, we can work backwards, fitting in as many of the 12-step roadmap strategies as possible with some creativity and logic based on a lot of experience, with the focus on prioritizing the highest leverage activities first. Without this information, our next best option is to review some basic details about your business to help with budgeting. So if they've given you this and they don't see it in here, that's the initial frustration they'll have, because they'll say, I told you what that was, or I told you what the budget was. So you definitely do not want anything in notes. You want it in the system. If we don't have any of the above, it's a shot in the dark. At best, we can make recommendations based on, and this is important for you guys, if we don't have budget being number one, years in business, sales, and number of employees, number two, it's a shot in the dark. At best, we can make recommendations based on the number of pages on your website, the year your domain was established, and your evaluation data. Our CEO, Jennifer Bagley, has evaluated the initial information we've collected, and she's recommending that we design a plan somewhere between these two strategies, unless we need more information. Since all of our pricing is standardized, we've created effective strategies for thousands of companies, all different sizes. It's important that we work closely to customize yours. Yes, everyone needs everything, but that's not practical. The 12-step roadmap is to allow a business to easily scale into each stage as they grow, start to see the return on investment, and have confidence in building their business through effective digital marketing strategies. These sample plans can be found in our digital marketing guide, along with individual pricing for each step. Click the link below to review. Now's the time to implement the right foundation for success, then scale your strategy continually. What's working, do more of it. What's not, reallocate it. What's next? What are you not doing? You need to start. Please let me know when we can jump on a quick web meeting or call to customize a plan for you based on your budget, goals, and needs. If you want us to reevaluate our recommendation with more information, that's easy. Just reply back with the following and we can revise the plan. Monthly budget. If they had a monthly budget, it would show here. We can create a strategy and a payment plan for your one-time investments, website and content writing that's comfortable, in addition to any marketing service. We're creative and flexible. Your goals Need help with the site is all it said. What I would prefer to have seen here would be, whatever you guys have talked about, it needs to show here so that it's a reflection of the conversation and they know we're paying.
Okay. And Jennifer, since I've already had my meeting and sent out the proposal, do I still need to send this? Because it's going to look like that I didn't listen to him, what we talked about in the recommendations that I've already made.
It's already sent, and your proposal you sent matches with what I recommended, so it's fine. I'm just saying for future, you want to have their goals identified here so that it shows we listen. Years in business, 11.
Okay.
Annual sales, total employees. It's not a process, it's a project, and we're in it. We are in it with you for the long haul. We look forward to working with you, dedicated to your success. It'll have yourself, your analyst, as well as myself on the email. The PS allows you to change the message to the dealer. So if you previously sent a message, a note to the primary contact here, and you want to modify this and send a new note when you send the plan follow-up. So you may put a note in here that's going to go with the evaluation. And then later we're going to send a plan follow-up, and we can change this. So all you'll do is edit it, delete what's in there, and put a new note in there. The history and the timeline is going to show everything that you did, so you'll be able to see both notes anyway, and it shows in the emails from here. Underneath, it has internal details for reference. So whatever was here at that time is what went out. The more information, the better. Same thing with estimate numbers, so they can easily reference those estimate numbers. This is what I'm going to do to help you guys get through these deals as fast as possible. So making sure that those notes are in there is going to help. The digital marketing guide here has been updated. So you guys are familiar with this. A lot of it's the same, but it has a new section on there. Okay. So the new sections, it has this section under the web area. It says over 100% increase in sales recorded in year one. Has a link to the testimonial video and a link to his website. There's a handful of these red things that just have little things Lisa wanted in there. It also has over 246% increase in sales recorded in year one. So you have the information on this. This is purchases from one of the manufacturer brands he sells. This is not his total sales. His total sales have increased more than that. But Goodman has, or Daikin, I can't remember, whatever his manufacturer is, has
Amana.
So they have confirmed that in year one, the number of equipment, total sales for equipment purchased has increased 246% since they started working with CI Web Group. Has a link to his testimonial on the website. Digital evaluation. Then we have the next section, which is create a budget and design the plan, then execute. So we have be strategic, and it has the pricing for each thing so they can see it. The next section that is in here is bootstrap marketing plans. So it explains what a cloned website is. Cloned website is one of our custom sites. Choose a layout from one of our custom sites. We'll change the logo, color, and content. You avoid the entire design and development process. Go straight to project launch after content transfer. Just imagine getting a top-of-the-line website in half the time and half the cost. Invest your resources in content, SEO, and marketing, the things you need to drive traffic and leads, knowing you have a strong, well-designed and developed website, not just on your dime. Then focus on higher priorities to grow the business. This is a great option for a smaller startup company. as a hardcore entrepreneur would say, bootstrap your way to success. What is bootstrap marketing? The definition is to finance a company's startup and growth with the assistance or input of others. Anyone who's started a business on a shoestring budget is adept at bootstrapping or stretching resources, both financially and otherwise, as far as they can. There are 3 bootstrap versions. Bootstrap version 1 is cloned website, 3 pages of content writing, hosting in the CRM, and this gives them the option for up to a 24-month payment plan. What I would
Jennifer,
Yep.
question. Before, when you told us on the clones that we could only do it in 2 payments, I know that this is what is now, but is this going to go out to the dealers that I have sent them an estimate, tell them that they can only do their clone websites in 2 payments, and now they're going to see this and think I was lying to them?
That's what I was just finishing my statement.
Sorry.
Okay. So we have dealers that cannot afford even those 2 payments. And Lisa has asked for us to give financing options. Your conversation with them for this is financing fees apply. So if they want to avoid the financing fees, you already sent them a payment, and they want to avoid the financing fee or the financing payment or whatever, then they can do that just by making those 2 payments. So you can tell them you have 2 options. You can do the bootstrap plan, and you can finance it, which there is a fee for that. It's a one-time setup fee of blank, and we'll come up with that because I don't have that. Or you can make 2 payments and avoid that fee. It's up to you. So that's your language. The second bootstrap version is cloned website, $1,500 on 18-month plan, 6 pages of content writing. And Jesse, the content writing for these is identical every time. It's got to be focused on, obviously, air conditioner repair and service. It's the same as Ferguson. This is 18 months. The only difference is 6 pages of content. Everything else is the same. This is 12 months. This is 12 pages of content. Everything else is the same. What Lisa's looking for is you can work with CI Web Group for as little as $255. That's what her goal is. And that is because of the 60 to 70% of their dealers being 1- and 2-person shops that do less than $250,000 a year. So that's what this is.
And when will we see that amount, what the fee is?
I'll have that for you, and
Okay.
it'll be in the email, so you don't have to worry about it. It'll show it in the email. I have a budgeting meeting with Mike and Lorenzo after this call, so we'll go over it then.
Okay.
Then you have
Thank you.
your normal sample plans, which is for a more established company. It has what their annual sales is, what the budget should be based on industry standards. They are referred to as Kickstart, Standard, Aggressive, and Domination. You'll notice in the email that it's telling them that the recommendations is something in between these 2 strategies. So it's not saying that you should do this plan or this plan. It's saying that she's recommending we design a plan somewhere in between these 2. I'm doing this because there's a sense of the lady we met at the event actually looked at this. It didn't just get handed off. And 2, if this is wrong, you can blame it on me and go, okay, well, based on the information I have, that's what she thought. So I need some new information for us to reevaluate this and come up with a different plan. Are you going to give me your monthly budget, your goals, years in business, sales, and employees? Then we can get closer. And also because I want them to, what I want to avoid is the dealer that just doesn't call you guys back because you've overbid a deal. And I've had at least a dozen in the last week conversations with TSMs as well as dealers that said the initial estimates they got were too high. That's why they're not returning our calls. So because we don't have any of this information, so I can't even tell. So inside this system, when you go into deals, by using the logic, so some of the logic is going to be based on something as simple as saying, show me everything that contains no site. We got these. So we have 8 deals in the system that say no site. You can change this to no website. And Jesse, for you, I'd prefer that all these say the same thing, because I've got 13 that say no website, and I have 8 that say no site, and I can't search by either one of them. So
No, I agree. I want to get them all the same way.
Perfect. If we can do that, then we'll have 30 or 20 something that we know.
Part of that may be my fault too, because I know that whenever we're doing the sending out, like for Visita, it won't let you put the same website in. So that's why I was getting confused and thinking it had to be something different every time. You can't just put a website in there because it has to be something different. So sorry, that's probably where I got everybody confused.
No worries. So we want to keep the same thing all the way across. Let's stick with no site, or no, let's stick with no website, because you only have 8 to choose. So that's what it is, no website. For these, I don't have a lot of other data to go on, but I have some. So this is where my brain would say, this is everybody with no website, but then I have some weird things in here. I've got something that says 92 pages. So there's some interesting glitches. I'm not sure where this came from, but that one needs to be checked. That doesn't make sense. If there's no website, then the number of pages need to say 0. So Jess, for you, I want to keep this one the same way because I have a feeling they have a site and that just it didn't get entered. For here, I would say pages, and we're going to mark it as 0. For here, this is all the no site ones. And I have something that says we have 9 pages on a no website. So I don't know what's going on with that one either. So for these, I'm going to go number of pages, 0. And this logic will help you drastically because the next thing you can do, hang on one second. Let me see. Mr. Tom Miller, I see you joining the call. We are in a sales meeting. If you can hang out and just stay with us, this will actually save me from having to go over some of the same information. If you just want to hang out, that would be awesome. And welcome to the call.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, so that logic gives you the ability to go here, and I can say pages, number of pages equal to 0, apply filter, and now I have 36 showing up with 0 pages. So Jesse, for you, what you're going to want to do is same logic for helping them is if number of pages is equal to 0, and this is how you would do the report, you would say website address does not contain no site, apply filter. Everyone that has a site, we need to get the frog reports in and the number of pages. This number of pages plus the year established can come from the website report, which is the SiteLiner report. So if you have these 2 pieces of information, and Jess, if you can help and you can get NextGen to help with this, Tell them you need years in business to have the date the URL was established, and you can get the number of pages in from all the frog reports. Now you have a new set of data where if the customer is not given annual sales number of employees, you at least know they've been in business for 1 year, they've got 5 pages. That's obviously going to be a bootstrap project. Or they've been in business 11 years, they have 200 pages. That's not going to be a bootstrap project. That's a bigger site. So your logic is based on this data. This is what I would use if I don't know what the estimated budget is, which I think most of them are 0, meaning that the information's either not in the system or the question hasn't been asked or they don't want to share that. That's fine. So
They don't know.
that same
They
thing,
just don't know.
same thing. And if they don't know, they're probably bootstrap. So if they don't know their budget, it's a small business because that's how their brains work. They're not
Right.
budgeting yet, which comes with a whole other host of issues. So that's something that if you put it in the accrual deal or the accrual information, no established budget, you can absolutely put in here estimated budget 0. And that's your clue that we're working with a small dealer.
Hey, Jen, I have a question real quick. Like last night, I was trying to kind of go through these. Is there like an average that most companies spend a month on marketing
That's what I was going through.
usually?
So these are your benchmarks.
Yeah, no, I saw those, but for the bootstrap ones, like if I'm in the system and I see 6 employees, they have like 5 pages. Is there a certain amount most companies, like, is there like 5% a month they,
No. Mm-mm.
put,
Mm-mm.
no, okay.
Unfortunately,
Okay.
if you're in the 1 to 3 employee world, you're talking about a very small company. They don't budget. They barely manage their QuickBooks. They probably have a partially operating phone system. It's usually going to be the husband doing the work, the son assisting him, and the wife in the office. They are not thinking budget by any means. And they are focused on one thing, which is this dollar right here. What is this too scary for them to commit to, or can they commit to that? Is this too scary for them? If they have accruals, this is going to help because it's going to cover it. If they don't have accruals, they're not. Tom, you've worked with a lot of small businesses, correct?
Yes, ma'am, I have.
So, not to put you on the spot, what is your recommendations when it comes down to the 1 to 3, not just recommendations, but your thoughts as far as how to work with a startup with 1 to 3 employees? What's their mindset and how do you work with them?
Their mindset is basically cash flow. They don't really understand the technical term behind it, but they're looking at how much is it going to cost me every month, and some will pay high finances, high interest rates, so that they can get that monthly budget down to a manageable amount. And I know that we're not financing here, but they're speaking. They're looking at a monthly what they can manage in a monthly budget.
That's legit. How is their, from a cash flow standpoint and debt, what are they willing to mortgage in order to get their companies off the ground?
Typically their home.
That's what these companies, that's legit. These guys are not profitable. They're not making money yet. They are financing. They're going into debt. They're buying equipment they can't afford before they've sold it. They are hiring people before they can pay them. The risk to this size of a company is drastic. In order for them to hire a new employee when they get to max capacity from a workload standpoint, they don't have the money to hire the next technician. They hire the next technician on a wish and a prayer. And they will personally reduce their own income in order to make sure that person gets paid if they have an ounce of intelligence, I guess.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's, these guys, we're not talking budgets. Nothing is pre-planned. It's what scares them, or what are they emotionally stable enough to commit to. And even when they commit, the likelihood of this actually not fitting into their budget, because remember, these guys are spending this money. This is not coming from profits. This is debt to them. It's debt. So
That helps though, Jen. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good. Anything else, Tom, you would say?
I agree with that. They're not looking at that as an investment or an asset. They're looking more as on the balance sheet as a debt or liability.
Correct. Okay, so that's going to help you guys when it comes to the way to look at this. And you want to weed these guys, I don't want to say out, I want to say down, meaning that if it's no website, if it's years in business is less than 2, if the number of employees is less than 3, if their annual sales are less than $500,000, if the number of pages is less than 20, all of these scenarios are going to tell you they probably are in bootstrap mode, which means they will stretch every resource to be able to.
By the way, Jennifer, that move over, that Crystal was entered wrong. They do have a website.
Okay.
I thought I went in and changed it. So
It says website. So that's your logic. So when I'm looking at the database and I see 400 deals that we need to close, my brain is going to say, the first thing I'm going to get out of the way is every one of the companies that falls in those buckets. So you got to have enough information, and it's not a lot. Even if we just get years in business and number of pages, these two things will tell you enough of a story to be able to at least send a plan recommendation and to remind them that based on this information, all I can tell you is I think you're in bootstrap mode and you're probably going to qualify for bootstrap 1 through 3, and you can grow into something else later. If this is wrong and you want us to reevaluate it, then you need to be upfront and you need to tell us what's your budget, what's your goals, years in business, annual sales, number of employees. You got to give us something to go on. Otherwise, I can tell you need the world, and I'm going to pitch you $10,000 a month and a huge website with 50 pages that you need because you need everything. But the reality is they can't afford it. So when you're working these deals, think of this not as a individual, what's in my pipeline? I'm going to start with this one. Think of them in buckets. Who are all the dealers that will fit in to this bucket? These are my easy ones. That way you do proposals, you do estimates on that bucket all at the same time. We make these recommendations all at the same time and see if we can get them to step up and give us some more information so we can change the recommendation. That'll save you a ton of time. So I would say your priorities first are to get number of pages, websites, years in business, get those in there. Your second priority is to actually have a conversation with them. Annual sales, number of techs, number of employees. If we've seen that you've attempted to make contact and are not making progress, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the data in the system, and when I have years in business and number of pages, and if not a website, I'm going to put the starter plan and a max plan recommendation, and I'm going to send this to them to try and get them motivated to respond. And we'll weed them out that way. That's the fastest way to get through this. So then we can literally finish 60 deals, at least moving them down the pipeline, moving further down the pipeline. We can do that in a day. So it's not one day means 5 phone calls. It's one day we're going to do the analysis, use the data to be able to proceed faster. What has to be in the system in order to be able to do that is the basic information that is required, who it was referred by, what event did they go to, distributor, manufacturer. So what I don't want to see is this. I don't want to see that they came from Amana's Winner Circle and we don't know who the manufacturer is out of the gate. That's Amana. Stuff like that. Jesse's in there working hard getting states and countries. And Jess, if they don't have a website, you can use the local listings report to get their address. That's the easy way. And you can also assign the next gen team to help with years in business and those locations. Tell them exactly what you need, where to get the information from, and get them on it and say, let's finish this today. Any information you have on pen and paper or in your head regarding years in business, annual sales, employees, budgets, or customer goals, take a minute, get it into the system, because we want to make sure that when we send that push, that those have those notes in there. I want the customer to see that we've paid attention. When we look at events, so this is important for everyone, is working backwards, and we're looking, let's start, we'll go by date first, and these are all the upcoming ones. So what are we in? We're in October. Let's go to 20 records. Okay, let's go to 40. 2017. Okay, so here's where we are.
Here where we are, meaning what? I'm not.
I'll finish my thought as soon as I figure out what the dates are. Okay, so Maryland. Okay, so here's another way to think through this is from a sales standpoint, we're working based on the event that drove them to request an evaluation and more information. So if we look, we'll just go here. We'll start here. So let's say that everything from September backwards, it's out. As soon as the further you move, just remember this. If we do an event and there are 5 other vendors, 4 other vendors, 14 other vendors, if the event was on September 14th and we are one of, and the only one who gets to speak, X number of other vendors, every day that passes by, the budget, the money that that dealer has to be able to spend is going to dissipate if the other vendors are faster at getting in front of the dealer, pitching their wares and tears, and making a sale. So if that dealer, the company's expendable income or expendable resources or financeable money they're able to finance is X amount of dollars, and 4 other vendors who are at this event pitch them first, we're out for odds and just reality. So when we look at, for example, we'll start with Chicago Fall Amana Dealer Event. So if I open this event, there are 7 deals from this event, and we have needs analysis. We have 2 that are in, or 3 that are in value prop, no, 2 that are in value proposition, 1 closed, and 3 we haven't sent out evals on. So
I need to check that because I've had more meetings than that. I need to go back in and fix those.
Okay. So we need to do that because that's going to help. What I would do is, for me, I would look at this one, this one, this one, this one, and I'll start with these. And I can see we sent out an evaluation on the 9th. No way. His name is Bagley?
And he is so awful. Sorry, is he related to you? That is his name. Yeah, we're wanting someone to do business with him. He was pretty bad.
What is this? He's only trying to reach manufacturers?
Right.
Meaning the dealer is not trying to sell equipment?
Right. Well, yeah, he was just, was a hot mess. I don't think he's somebody that we want as a customer.
Okay, so if that's the case, all I would do is we have a 3-page website. You have any details on
I think the only words I didn't put in there, well, we're being recorded, so I won't mention that, but you can tell by my notes that this is a mess. Just about everything I wrote about him.
any ideas on size or no?
No.
Okay.
We never even got that far.
Okay, so the only thing that I would do just to show that we have is I would say bootstrap 1 through 3. That's technically their proposal. And we'll send a follow-up. And we do have a TSM. We already sent that, so that's good to go. On this one, if you want and you don't think we should do business with them, you can move them to closed lost.
That would be my recommendation.
All right.
And I don't say that about anybody. You know that.
That's okay. I'd prefer to not work with hot messes. Okay. So we'll get rid of that one. Next one, Comfort Air. We sent an eval. We did not send anything to, so because we didn't send an evaluation to the TSM, we wrote a note, but we didn't send it. And because we didn't send it, we don't know who the TSM, because this is the area manager or general manager. So if you want to get the TSM, all you got to do is send the eval to him, and he'll send you the TSM back. So for this one,
Did I put that in the notes, or did I not? Like when I was
a message to him, but no.
I didn't see.
No. So 28 pages. He's been around a little bit. The domain information. So we've got the expiration date in here. You need to teach the analyst to make sure they put the date the website was registered. Expiration date is fine, but I want to know, when did they register that site? Was it 5 years ago, 1 year ago, a month ago? Because that'll give me an idea. That information. I'm going to go to details and domain. So his registration date was April 13th, 2019. That is your
18 years, right? Oh, you just gonna put, okay.
So he's been around a while, and we don't have much more information than that. I'm gonna glance at the site.
So do you want us to, okay, never mind.
That's a good dealer. Notes. Spoke with him months ago.
I also spoke with him at the event.
And every email that's went to him has bounced. So everything that's been done on this account from an email notification evaluation size, we're working with an email that doesn't work. So
I've got their card, so I'll fix it.
So you're going to need 2. That means they've got no correspondence. So we're going to delete the sent evaluation, fix the email address, resend the eval. As far as the plans go, I would say Kickstart through standard based on what I have so far. Send the eval, send the plan follow-up, and see if we can get some more details or interest.
Okay, I've got their card. I'm just wondering, can I see their email address again? Oh, that's why they've got their www, and then underneath that they've got Comfort
Air.
MS.
Are we missing an M?
It's Comfort Air Heat at msn.com.
Okay, so missing the comma is going to do that.
Yep.
So just watch those real careful. We're going to send the evaluation. Okay, and we're also going to send, obviously he's USA, and he's located in
Illinois.
Illinois.
IL. Yep.
And he was referred by Goodman. So I'll fix that after this. I'm going to send a follow-up right after it. And you've got to change. Once you send that eval, you got to move them to price quote. That way it shows we've done something versus we haven't done even an eval on it. That one's done. Next one, combined services. We've sent an eval. I'm going to look at the emails.
And I had a meeting with him, and then we were having to reschedule it. Matt Yagi.
Okay. That was October 4th. Are you guys still trying to reschedule?
Yep. Called him just yesterday or day before again.
All right.
On his cell.
Let's see if we can get him moving. So it's got 17 pages. Average at best. You have any details in your initial conversation on this information?
Did I put anything down in my notes on the bottom?
I know exactly who this is, and they were absolutely interested in getting started. And they're spending a crap ton of money. A ton of money.
David's the boss. Matt's the one that handles it. And Matt is a fireman, so he's very hard to catch. But I finally got his cell phone from the secretary day before yesterday. So, yeah.
So should you make David the primary contact then? Who's the decision maker?
No, because when I was at the event, they said absolutely. But when they gave me their card, which had David's name on it, they said, absolutely, Matt is the one to talk to. And I confirmed that when I talked with Matt when we first scheduled our first meeting.
Okay, these guys are in Illinois.
Yes.
Referred by company needs to be Goodman. And they've been around since 2011. And we sent the TSM. So for them, I'm going to say they need to be between Kickstart and Aggressive. Just knowing what Marketing 360 charges, that one piece of information can tell me where to put them, as well as them being around for a handful of years and the number of pages. And we're going to send a follow-up with the plan. And move them over to price quote. That's going to increase your probability and move it further down the pipeline. That one's done. Next one. We are,
I've already done a meeting with them, I think.
so no estimates have been sent. Meeting scheduled for 10/16. Any follow-up?
I do have another meeting set with them for Thursday, actually. I believe that's who I'm thinking about. Let me look on my calendar. I think I've got another meeting set with them for Thursday.
Okay, and this one, Jesse, I know Mitch is the general manager, and every one of the evaluations we've sent, Mitch has responded and given us the actual TSM, his sales rep. So you and Beverly, if you can go through all of these deals from this particular event and look for Mitch's emails, every time you send the eval to Mitch, he responds and tells you who to actually talk to.
Yeah, and I do have a meeting with them first thing Thursday morning.
Okay, so I'm going to move this forward. You're in plan creation mode. And so when you first, for everyone, when you first call the dealer, I want you to get in a habit of saying, hey, before we get off the phone, I need 3 pieces of information. When did you guys start your business? How many employees do you have? And what's your current annual sales? Do that on the first call. First call, because then we can actually propose a strategy or a recommendation without anything else being done. If you get those 3 pieces of information, do it on that first meeting. They have 95 pages of content.
So now when they get this before our meeting, they're already going to have the recommendations, right?
These were
Since my meeting's on.
This report's not a right report. Link. Need to fix this report link. Damn it. Okay, I'm going to let you fix that report link and get the years in business. If you can do that real quick.
Okay.
Yep. Then we'll know. I'll check who is. So their domain registration date was 2014.
What is their URL?
5 pages. Qualifiedheating.com. 2014. I think they're going to sit between Bootstrap 3 and, actually, let me just glance at their site. Good night. This is a POS. Bootstrap 3 to Kickstart. So who'll go in between them? We'll send this, move it forward. That one's done.
Well, I didn't get the silk tide changed in it.
That's okay. You can do that. I can get it from I got it from the Who Is report. Okay. So for this particular campaign, we'll refresh it. We're going to go to deals. And now we have 2 more value propositions. So for L and G and HR,
I had a meeting with both.
have proposals been sent to both?
LNG, no, wait a minute. I had a meeting scheduled with him and he was a no-show. We've got to reschedule with him. And the other one should have a proposal sent. The other one. Not this one, but the other one.
Okay. And
no proposal.
We're doing all this before we send an analysis.
Hey, Jen, it's Lisa. I wanted to make 3 more calls, really important, and I said I would follow up with people.
Go for it. You'll have your total.
You don't need me, right? Okay, thank you. All right, everybody have a great evening.
Bye.
So on this one, I should see if you've made it to the point where you're talking to them, an evaluation should already be done. So I just picked an analyst who I know doesn't have many to do, and I'm going to put needs evaluation. That's all you have to do to ask the analyst to do the eval. But if you have a conversation with them and you don't have one sent, you need to see if it's been done. If it's been done, you need to write a note and send it. If it hasn't been done, you need to request it. And then they'll tell you when it's done by saying eval complete. Next one. This one, you have half an evaluation done. We're already making recommendations to them, and we haven't finished that. So this has got to get done. So, and
I think that
the
before
reason
we started the evaluation is why.
You got to go backwards though. The reason I am pitching this is every single presentation, if they've attended a webinar or heard anything, they're hearing me tell them that no Yahoo sales rep can tell you what you need without doing their homework, which means they're going to ask you some hard questions you need to be honest with about your business. They're going to go evaluate where you are right now, where do you want to go, and what are your means to get there. So if they hear that, but we don't follow it, we are the Yahoos. So we want to make sure.
Yeah, this one we won't be because it was the speaking engagement in Chicago that Kathy and I did. And we didn't tell them about the evaluations because we weren't doing them.
But
so hopefully we won't be Yahoo on.
No, but I say it because I believe it. So we're still it, regardless of if they hear it or not. I believe that we can't tell someone, we can't make a recommendation to a company without doing our homework. That every sales rep with a catalog of bullshit, that's what they do. I want to make sure that we do our homework. And you don't have to do the homework, you just have to ask for it to be done. Okay, so now,
how did you go in there and request an analyst in that? Where did you request that?
So you put the analyst here, and I'll tell you, Liz has too many, so give them to Terrell, give them to Alula.
Okay.
And all you do is where it says need evaluation, you put a date and hit save. And when you do that, an email will go to them. This is the one I sent to George, so Let me refresh. So it says, Terrell, I need reports for this. And it explains to him exactly what to do for every single step. Full instructions.
Okay.
And now he knows he needs to get it done. And when he gets it done, he will say eval complete by analyst. And you'll get a note. At that point, that means you need to send it to the TM and to the dealer. Request it, finish it, send it. Then we get enough information to be able to make a recommendation. What's the lowest plan they should do? What's the highest plan we think they should do based on the information we have? These may change. And then we send a plan follow-up after you've sent an estimate, or at least had a conversation about, had some kind of a conversation, because we're trying to say, we've done the analysis, you already got the evaluation, we've done the research. We have this
Yeah.
information, and based on
An
this
estimate.
information, we recommend you're somewhere in between these plans. If you don't agree, you need to give us more information. And let's finish this. Let's finalize the next steps and get it done. Okay, so for these ones, we're going to move both of these. We'll get the evals done and out, and you'll be there. So now you have an event that is processed to the max it can be processed. For all of the deals inside of this, what should be is all evaluations are sent out to this. We're in final, which is creating the plan, their pricing, and we're making those recommendations. That's where this event needs to be. Going back to the event, the next event. So you do the same thing. The next event we did was Johnstone Supply. Deals and sales. Anything that is needs analysis, we need to go through the same process. Anything that is negotiation review or proposal price quote, we need to choose between those plans, and we need to make the recommendation with the follow-up email to try and push those forward. And there are 9 deals to push through to try and get them to close won or close lost. Same process. Next one. So I'm saying this because the way you can work, we have a, that's really going to be Clay. Jesse, for all the Ferguson day and night events, can you change the owners from those to Clay? And
I'm
then
sorry, Jen, what event?
everything related to Ferguson and day and night, change them to Clay.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
Sorry.
so we have Johnstone, same thing. Then we have Amana. This is private training. I'm not worried about that one. I have 2 deals from that. Amana Winter Circle. So we have $22 and a crap ton of them are sitting in needs analysis. So if you're working deals, your logic is in buckets. I want to work the event that was most recent to have a higher probability of closing. So I'm going to work inside campaigns, and I'm going to look at the event that's most recent. I'm going to verify the information in here, that I have all the proper details. And I'm going to push this event forward to finalize this event before the other 14 vendors get to these guys and take their money. That's one logic. And I'm not saying one of these is right. I'm saying all of them are right. Another strategy is I'm going to work backwards because I'm going to lose the events that are old. So today I'm going to work on all the events from September. I'm going to push all those forward. Then I'm going to work on all my events from October. I'm going to push those forward. And if you get real excited, go back to the month before. Because right after this, just so you can plan your schedule, this is October. So we're right here. This is the last event that we did. This is the most current leads in the system are coming from this event. This has the highest probability of closing. These have the highest probability of losing as you go backwards. And you are 2 weeks away from another huge event, another event, another event, another event, another event, and then you're in event hell all the way through November 29th. At this point, we have 300 TSMs that are going to want to talk to us to establish a relationship with one of our sales reps and be able to refer business. This is a half-day training at the DTP Corporate Center, and this is a game changer as far as our mindset. This is all you building your sales team with the manufacturer sales reps. And then you get into December. We're already booked in December, the 4th, the 12th. You've got 3 weeks. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year's, and then boom, you're in January. And we have almost every week booked through February already. So no pressure, but the thought. So most recent events, highest probability. Older events, I don't want to lose them. Going into deals, the logic is driven by data. Get your easy ones out of the way first. Your no websites, no pages, low number of years in business, low number of total employees. Bootstrap those guys. They don't have any money anyway. Give them something easy. Give them a payment plan, whatever. Get them into a cloned website. Call it a day. Those are faster. You're not talking about marketing budgets. You're only talking about 2 steps in the roadmap. You're done. 3 steps. Then you pick a day and you say, okay, I'm going to go in and I want to work on my big deals. So depending on logic, the only information you have, if you haven't done the interview or have not put the interview details in the system, the only information you have is number of pages. We're going to say greater than 60. So when we look at, I don't know how to do greater. What is greater? This one? Apply. That's not greater. This one's greater. Jeez, I need to go back to school. So here's another set of logic is, if I want to work on my big money accounts, which you guys know, be very careful. You know that the bigger the account, the longer the sales cycle. So all the small ones, no pages, no websites, less than a couple years in business, less than 3 employees. Those ones you can do quick closes on. You could technically take a couple weeks and kill them, but you also don't want to lose the big opportunities because these guys are also shoppers. If we get them excited at an event, they're going to start looking, and they may talk to other companies because they don't usually just get one quote. They get more than one. Longer sales cycle, bigger commission check, more time. So there's pros and cons to both. But if I go through and I look at, I've got 61 accounts that have more than 100 pages. And I want you to see the logic in this. If they have more than 100 pages, they likely have more than 5 employees and do over $1 million in sales. These guys have a $10,000 a month monthly budget. Good data. I would probably kill that. If whoever's working this one, put them on the phone with me and I'll help you close it. They're doing, so you see remember when I said if they have 30 employees, in order to guesstimate annual sales, take 100,000 per employee, add 10 to 20% to the total, and that's probably your annual sales. That's a good benchmark. Not accurate, but a benchmark. If you have over,
Can you say that?
so your benchmark is 100,000 per employee, add 10 to 20%, and that's probably your benchmark. Here's a big difference. So you see they have 30 employees doing 3.5 million. They have 15 employees doing 3.5 million. The logic behind this is these guys either lied or all they do is ductless, which is twice the price of unitary, or they are significantly better business people. Their margins are higher. Lean operating cost, or they have some kind of, and their private label. That's great. Other logic here I would say is they have solar business that probably increases their sales. They have their maintenance. They have all these home efficiency companies usually have multiple products. So they've got other product lines that'll add to that bottom line as well that may have bigger margins. So again, back to deals and sales, number of pages.
I remember that one because I remember that one.
60.
Okay, never mind. I was going to say, I remember that one. I think there's already been something sent out to them.
So and send out's not going to be enough. That we need to push, and we can do that by making these recommendations, sending the follow-up email. And the emails I sent yesterday, I tried to show you how to customize them. If they heard me speak at an event, say, I want to say lie, but I don't believe in it, but fabricate slightly and say, hey, Jen asked me to reach out to you. She met you at the event. Her and I and our analyst did an evaluation on your website. We looked over your eval that was sent out. She's made a couple recommendations. She's only in town for 5 days before the next sequence of events. We've got 1,000 dealers that have requested evaluations. And she wants to carve out 30 minutes while she's home to have a conversation. Can the three of us get on a call this week? So she leaves next week. So give them whatever they want. If they want to feel special, especially for the bigger accounts, well, only for the bigger accounts. If they want to feel special and have me join, let me jump on a call with you. Just make sure if I'm getting on the call, you've got all the information. The evals are sent out. We've already done all that. I don't want to get on and have to do any of the basic work. So you've got 61 accounts that I would say these guys right here, same thing. 8 million, 180 pages. 8 million. The wire nut, isn't that one you closed or not? The wire nut?
Nope, that's the one that I sent. You just sent some. Now, you talked to him the other day when we were over in Dallas for a couple hours. He's still wanting more information. I sent an email over to you and forwarded it and said, look, we've already spent 5 hours on this guy. Plus, we already sent him the onboarding forms for him to fill out. And I copied you and Mandeep. He's still wanting us to do some more research for him. And I feel like at some point he needs to either pull the trigger or we need to start charging by the hour.
Okay, so
you wanted to look at it and do a reevaluation of what I sent him based on if he sent in his onboarding forms, which I checked back with him. He said he did receive them, and then he sent me something else back again to be researched.
okay, so re-forward that email to me and let me look at it, and I'll probably say set him up for a quick call this week. And I did just send him a planned follow-up, so he'll have that, hopefully initiate something. His questions, post them in here so I can look at it. If I'm looking at the deal, put them in there. I actually don't need you to forward it to me. I can find it in here. Okay. And I wouldn't, if you're talking to an $8 million company, do not get frustrated with 5 hours or 8 conversations, because an $8 million company has a lot of stuff to talk about. That's not, I'm
Okay.
my
I kind of thought that maybe you didn't want me to keep spending a whole bunch of time with them wanting us to do so much research, because that's what we've spent so much time on.
If you have an $8 million company, you've seen me, the deals that I've closed on your guys' behalf that are spending $14,000 a month and spent 10,
Mhm.
12, 15 upfront, I spent 8 hours with them without a problem. And if we don't do that
Okay.
analysis up front, we will lose the business anyway, because we don't know enough about their company to manage them from an operational standpoint. An $8 million company has a
Okay.
lot of complexities that a small business doesn't. They have ERP systems. What he's asking right now is about his satellite websites. It is really important, and just
Yeah, I just put that note in just in case, because I don't know when you want to.
I want you to look at this really quick. So go
Like I
back.
said, this guy just keeps.
That's fine.
Okay.
And he should. And for this kind of company, you can't close this deal technically without getting us involved. Definitely me, Mandeep, and probably Mike/Ben from a technology standpoint. So I want you to look at this one client. This is a 14,000 upfront, 14, 15,000 a month. They have 99 employees. This is before we closed them. So for everyone, you were on these calls, but for everyone, this is identifying all their primary targets, identifying every single one of their primary services. It's figuring out where they currently rank and in what cities and who are their primary competitors. It's identifying how they're spending every piece of money that they have, who they're spending it with, what's working, what's not working, what websites do they have, what primary locations do they have for every single service. What's the priority of the service? Is it a higher profit item for them? Is it a higher volume item for them? Is it an entry item, meaning that the more volume they get of that, the more opportunities they have to sell a higher profit item? We're identifying every single service all the way down, everything. This is based on sales. Where do you make your money? This is priority. What locations are more important? So do you only sell this service in a particular region? This is pay-per-click information we found out down the road. This is every single county, every city, the population, the priority by location for every region they do business. This is the proposal draft before we even did a proposal, a working document. This is their logins and passwords we got before we started the project. This is what the email is from the guy that you're asking, or that's asking right now. This is every URL that he owns. Which ones are active? Which ones have redirects? Which ones are websites that may have content we need to use for the new website we're building? Which ones do we need to rebuild websites for? This conversation made us sell 2 sites instead of 1 and have 3 more sites on the ballot to be able to add once these sites go live. And to get them to stop buying domain names.
So the question I had, we keep doing this and we're not going to charge them for any of this research like used to be in our templates. I know it was another used to be, but I thought that we used to start charging people if they got to a point where we were doing all this research, but no.
We do that on custom development, and we do that on e-commerce, because we don't want to do that business. We don't want to do custom development. We don't want to do e-commerce. So if they even want us to look at a custom project, we have a consulting fee we have to do up front. But for us to sell a 20 million, 8 million, 10 million, that kind of a company, if we don't know this, if you guess at selling them something and we don't know, oh shit, they've got 300 other websites. Oh my God, they don't do business. They have 9 cities they don't do business in. They've got 20 cities important. These are priorities. When it comes time for the web team to do work, what'll happen is the client's expectations are going to be sky high. The web, whatever we sold, is not going to match them. And we're not going to properly prep the client for, okay, I know you want to overhaul and own the entire world. You're aggressive like that. That's great. However, you're going to have to step into this. These are the things we're going to do. These are the things we're not going to do. And you're going to have to add them later. Then we don't get in trouble down the road. So anytime you have a dealer that is doing 10 million or more in sales, even sometimes the 5 million, but definitely 10 million or more, that's a long sales process, and it requires a lot of knowledge before we go pitching them a plan, because there's a lot of complexity we can get rung up for.
Yeah, because a lot of it, going into that first meeting, we didn't know, and they were wanting some pricing. So let me ask you this then. Did you just respond to that email already? Or you were moving so fast I couldn't see.
No, not yet. I got to read it entirely to find out. So
and I'll get copied on that, right?
Yeah. And you can see all the emails in the system because they're attached to the account. So here, what I would look for is any deals with over 100 pages. That's one way I would search. There's 35 of them. And I would say getting this information in the system to be able to make a call on any of these ones is going to tell you, can you do this on your own, or do you need to bring us involved? And I would do this sooner than later, because the only times we can help you with these is going to be when we're not traveling. So you got a week and a half to get anything in here updated. And so Jess, for you, years in business, you've already got number of pages. The locations for these are going to matter, because if one of these guys is sitting in the middle of Dallas, that's totally different strategy than if they're sitting in the middle of Terrell. Totally different. So without location, you can't pitch. I mean, you can't, not a big account. You can't make a recommendation for SEO if you don't know their location. Because if they want 100 key phrases, 50 key phrases, and they're sitting in Seattle, Houston, Dallas, Los Angeles, New York City, and that's what they want to meet, and you pitch them a medium competition or a low competition SEO plan with no backlinking, immediately we failed. So this, unfortunately, to get paid a lot requires a lot of work and volunteer time from us. So that's one way to look at it. Number of pages. Another way to look at it, annual sales. Another way to look at it, years in business. So you can, so for more than 100 pages, there's 35 deals. For years in business, that's going to be hard to do because the dates are different. We'll do total employees, more than 30. That's another way to look at it. And you've got 2 that have information in the system. Annual sales. You guys got to use these filters. You'll love them when you get used to them, because they give you raw data in a million different ways if you think through the logic. So we'll say 5 million. So there's 6 dealers. These are your babies. You know, out of the gate, you need to get us involved. And you'll see the employees line up with the sales, the pages line up with the sales. And Jesse, for you, I would get page counts on these 3 right out of the gate. And I would, all 6 of these, I would get in there. When you create a filter, if it's a filter you want to use on a regular basis, so let's say that you said the opportunity owner is me and they do more than 5 million in sales, or let's say this is 3 million. And I want to keep this, so you've got 10 doing over 3 million that have information there. If you want to save that filter over 3M, that's all you do is hit save, and it's going to save it right here. So these are large accounts based on that filter. These are over 3 million in sales, and you can save unlimited number of filters here, so you get used to looking at the data based on that logic. And it's a different process for each one of them. Make sense? It will. All right, you guys.
Yeah, makes sense.
So with that, I think that's enough for now. That's covering the invoicing, how to close out a deal when they close, the new digital marketing guide with the bootstrapping prices separated from the standard pricing. That's for your mom and pop. I'm going to go into debt to make this happen. Also, the ability to make a recommendation and send that out for a follow-up. If you're trying to get somebody motivated to move, the way to motivate them to move, for example, on this one, we're going to say starter plan for these guys would be aggressive, and max plan would be domination plus. And I'm going to send it.
Jennifer,
Yes.
I know we talked about invoicing, but we were also talking somewhat about invoicing yesterday, and then you had to get on another meeting. I still need some clarity because I know that, all those invoices and so forth that we'd sent out and not drafts, but estimates are all wrong because they were sent from that invoice from the deals where I had made those. So who can I get with to get me some clarity on that?
You and Lorenzo can jump on and knock out the invoices. Oh, no. You're talking about the, let Jesse and I.
Where I had done this wrong with that little box versus because I didn't have that on my screen where it said invoices from the deals.
I got it. I know what you're talking about. So to create an invoice, every invoice starts from the deal. All you do, start here, create your estimate, save it, come back and finalize it. I'm going to have Karen, Scott's wife, she's going to jump in and try and help as well. Jesse's going to help get these invoices up before the next event, in addition to 500 other things. And we'll teach Next Gen how to do this. We'll teach them tomorrow so they can help too. But for you, your invoice or your estimate always starts from the deal. And for any of them that are already out there that are all crazy, don't worry about it. We'll fix them. We'll fix it. You need to work with Lorenzo on fixing weird things like your payment plans or invoices that have already been sent out that have mistakes and need to be corrected. Other than that.
Okay, so they start from the deal, we hit invoice, and everything should be populated, and then we should be able to do it from there, correct?
You're going to.
And the other question, in accounts, if we've done it correctly, will it not, the estimate or invoice will show up under the account level? Isn't that what you said yesterday, if we've done them correctly?
If you've done them correctly, they will show up on your deal right here. You'll see your invoices and you'll see your estimates on your deal attached to the associated deal. So if you do two estimates for more, one estimate is for his website, one estimate is for his marketing, and he only closes on his marketing, only closes on his website, you'll close this deal, clone it, and you'll have two estimates on the initial deal. One of them will have closed and it'll be an invoice. You'll have another deal that says this is for his marketing. So it'll say more solar heating and cooling. Instead, this will say marketing and tech plan. And the new invoice will be attached to that. Your estimate will be attached to the other one.
Okay, well, I know that there's one I could close today that I can close tomorrow, but I'm going to need some help because I've already sent out his invoices. I mean, his
So for anything you've already sent that is not attached correctly, Jesse and I will fix all of those. Actually, Mike and Jesse and I will fix all of those. So don't worry about it. You've already sent. Just remember the closing process is put the estimate related to that deal. It'll be the invoice number when it closes. So you'll initially have your estimate.
After the fact, is that what you're saying?
Say that again.
If we've already. So what you're saying is you'll fix them after the fact if we've already sent an estimate out, and then you still want us to go ahead and convert that over to an invoice, even though it's been done in there in the estimate the wrong way, and then you'll fix them after we close them, or?
Okay, so don't worry about fixing any of the ones that are not properly attached to the accounts. We will do that for you.
Hopefully, Bev will be able to fix your estimates before you have to turn them into an invoice. So you shouldn't have to worry about it, hopefully, because I think I'm going to help Jen do it within probably the next 2 days. So I'm guessing.
Because I know I can close Steve McCullum tomorrow if I can just get all of his stuff squared away.
You don't need to, listen, close them, get paid. Don't worry about it. The only thing you need to worry about is the closing process. Make sure your invoice numbers are here. The descriptions are filled out. You have all of the required reporting information, your interview details, your notes, and then hit close when they pay. That's all you
and I have 2 more questions in closing.
That's it. So that is awesome. Good job. So just wrap those up. As soon as they pay, update all your information, then close.
No, I mean, I have 2 more questions before we get off here is what I mean.
Okay.
For you.
Shoot.
How quick can we get this recording? Is one.
As soon as YouTube is done converting it and uploading it.
Okay. And then the other is you and I are scheduled for a meeting with a pretty good size account tomorrow. They're switching over. And it is at, I believe, 9 o'clock your time. And you've got something that I think you and Clay might have scheduled right before that. It's imperative that we're on time for this meeting because and I put it all in a chat to you, but I didn't know if you saw it. It's imperative that we're on time for that meeting tomorrow at 9. He's the therapy guy that I've been talking to, and he is trying to move his boss over their SEL program and so forth. And he also met you as Twin Tech. They met you in Canada. And so just wanted to let you know that we've got to be there on time. I mean, I can be there to get them going, but they're expecting you to be on the call.
We're good. I'll be there.
And
Okay.
Bev, I'm here to help you too. If you need help, just call me or whatever. I'm here to help you too.
Busy.
I
know.
I got you, girl.
All right.
We keep trying to get on call. Okay. Love y'all. Thank you.
Tom, I am going to close this meeting down. I'm going to open it right back up, and you and I will be on.
Okay.
Give me 2 seconds.
Yes, ma'am.
Set it down. I'll be right back.